Good evening. Is it good evening? Let me say hi. So, good to see you again. So you came back. You came back to the channel because you wanted to learn. You wanted to learn something new. You wanted to learn something new. So today we are going to have a good discussion that you are going to remember. I hope that this is going to be an enlightening podcast. And today it's a very beautiful day. We have talked about a lot of things. Whether you missed out or you didn't, I would advise you to go back to my channel and try to look at the videos that you missed out on. Understanding human bias. What is a bias? You see, a bias refers to a systematic pattern of deviation from rationality or objectivity in judgment and decision making. It is just a fundamental aspect of our human cognition, not by law, not by flaw, but a consequence of the brain's need to process vast amounts of information quickly through mental shortcuts known as heuristics. So, before we go and talk about biases, we have to understand the term heuristics. Heuristic. Okay, so I might be talking, but you ain't understanding anything. So let me try to write it down so you can comprehend what I'm talking about. How can I place it? This is the word bias. That is bias, and this is heuristics. So, heuristics, it all depends on how you pronounce it. Heuristic is a mental shortcut. It is just a mental shortcut or just a rule of thumb that allows individuals to make decisions, solve problems, or form judgments quickly and efficiently by relying on experience, intuition, or readily available information. Okay, let me give you an example that you might be able to understand. If you get good at maths or multiplication, you don't have to start thinking about multiplying 2 times 2. You just do it. You just know it is 4. It is a mental shortcut. You see? So these heuristics are in particularly very useful when finding an optimal solution in an impractical or impossible as these techniques, they reduce the mental cognitive load at the same time and save a lot of time. So there are common types of heuristics where people judge the likelihood of events based on how easily examples come to mind. The representative heuristics, which involves categorizing things based on similarity to known prototypes, and the anchoring heuristic, where the initial information anchoring heuristics. This is where the initial Let me teach you something, by the way, before we go further. Let me finish up with this, then I will teach you. The anchoring heuristic, where the initial information disproportionately influences the subsequent judgments. While heuristics often lead to the satisfactory, good enough solutions, they can also result in systematic errors or cognitive biases, such as overestimating the frequency of dramatic events due to media coverage. The study of heuristics was significantly advanced by psychologists Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky in 1970s, who identified several key heuristics and their associated biases. We are going to learn about heuristics, but I think I wanted to just tell you what an heuristic is. So, let me give you an example that comes out of context in order for you to get the clear understanding what is an heuristic is. Let's talk about anchoring heuristic. This is a technique whereby, you see, when I bring you this pencil, I want to sell you this pencil, and I tell you this pencil is 100 bob. You are like, okay, so because you don't know the previous price or other you don't know anything about it, then I present the next pen to you before you, this one. And then I tell you this pen is 90 bob. So this is used as an anchoring point. You see, anchoring point. You compare this with this one, so you will take this one because it's much cheaper. So the point is, that works also with information, and that works with behaviors. We tend to judge things based on a certain foundation that was set. That is anchoring to that thing. So let's go back. To biases. So you see, while these shortcuts, these heuristics, these anchoring things, they might often be efficient because they help us kushinda tena unarudia kitu tena unajua tu unaijua, so you just go straight into it. They also can lead to perceptual distortions and inaccurate judgment and illogical interpretation. You see, all humans possesses biases. Bias si kitu mbaya, which can be broadly categorized into cognitive biases. These are errors in thinking processes and social. There are social biases. These are prejudices related to social groups, and there are okay. So I think we have only two. We have cognitive biases. That are individual. These are errors of thinking in the thinking process, and social biases, which are the errors related to social groups. So these biases operate on both conscious and unconscious levels and can significantly impact personal relationships, professional environments, and societal structures. So, how many types of biases do we have? We have two types of biases. We have implicit and explicit. So today we are going to make a distinction between implicit and explicit bias. This is very crucial for understanding the prejudice. What is a prejudice? A prejudice is a judgment made on incomplete information. So, finally, There's some peace. So what I was saying is that a prejudice is just a judgment based on an incomplete information or inaccurate information. It is a premature judgment. So, what is an explicit bias? This refers to conscious and controllable and self-reported attitudes and beliefs about social group. These are references and prejudices we are aware of and can deliberately express. While implicit biases, they are also known as subconscious or hidden biases. This refers to attitudes or stereotypes that affect our understanding and actions and decisions unconsciously. These associations operate automatically without intentional control and can exist even when they contradict our conscious values. So, what is the difference between explicit and implicit? Explicit, we have aware of them. We are conscious of these biases. It is like confirmation bias, anchoring bias, and I don't know, other kinds of biases. Just go and do your research. So, implicit biases, these are unconscious. We are not aware of these biases. Ziko kama unaona ni kama ukiona nyoka, damu inakukimbia ama utaruka ama utakimbia, ama ukiguza kitu moto. It's just unconscious reaction that you give. So, explicit biases are controllable because they are deliberate, so you can control them. But implicit biases are automatically. They are automatically and involuntary. Ni kama ukiguza sufuria moto, like utapata umetoa mkono huko bila wewe kupenda. No. How are they expressed? Explicit biases can be expressed directly, like unaweza sema aje, unaona kama okay, sasa sema kama confirmation bias, watu wengi walikuwa wanavuka barabara, si ndio? Hata kama umeona wakivuka barabara, si lazima uangalie kama kuna gari inakuja, utavuka na wao. Unaona? That is confirmation bias. But once you realize that umejaribu kuna hiyo bias umejaribu ku enact in your life at that moment, then you can judge it and make pragmatic judgment. But implicit biases, these are indirectly manifested. E.g. non-verbal cues ama microaggressions, like the way I'm talking, the way I'm reacting in my face. Some of these expressions that I do, I'm not conscious of them. So, let me give you an example in order to understand these these biases in context. Explicit is when a person openly stating they do not want to work with a certain group of people. They know the reason why they don't want to work with them, you see, but they will work with them. But they do know why, and they are aware of it. But when it comes to implicit bias, and a good example is a hiring manager consistently interrupting candidates from specific background without realizing it. Do you get it? Like, unaenda tu job, upate umeandikwa kazi, huyo mtu anakupatia kazi, kumbe kuna kitu namfurahishanga kwa watu kama wewe, background yako ama the way you present yourself, without them knowing. They think that you are fit for the job application kushinda mtu mwingine, but literally it is the way they perceive you. It is a bias which is implicit, which that means it is not recognized. So, understanding the difference, this difference explains how well intentioned individuals can still perpetuate discrimination. A person who may reject racism but hold implicit associations that lead to unequal treatment, such as a doctor being less likely to recommend certain treatment to patients of a different race. No. So like implicit bias are very they are on another level, because mtu anaweza kataa na mdomo lakini kwa ukweli anataka hiyo kitu. So over 100 we have over 180 cognitive biases which have been identified by 2025 today. Here are some of the most common types of biases. Confirmation bias, I've talked about it. Confirmation bias is the tendency to search for, interpret, and remember information in a way that confirms one's existing beliefs. Hii ni ile unajua kitu fulani. Okay, kama unajua kama unaamini kitu fulani, utatafuta tu ile information yenye itakaa ina support hiyo kitu unajua. Now this is a very dangerous bias to have, because utatengeneza you end up building your own social bubble or information bubble or knowledge bubble, ama friendship, the people who you are around with. Unajitengenezea dunia yako and then cutting off yourself from the rest of the world and believing that they have gone wrong, or they have a different understanding of the world and they are gone. We have the halo effect, the tendency for an impression created. Halo effect is a tendency of an impression created in one area to influence an opinion in another. For instance, assuming attractive person is also intelligent. But for me, I don't think it is an halo effect. I am just Niko evil too. Yeah, I'm attractive and I'm not intelligent. I'm kind also. Affinity bias. This is also known as similarity bias. The tendency to favor people who are similar to ourselves in the background, interests, or experiences. This can lead to homogeneous hiring practices, such as manager hiring candidates who graduated from their I don't want to go there because I've gone through that myself. Anchoring bias is the one I told you, that it is the tendency to rely too heavily on the first piece of information you encounter the data. That is anchoring. Hindsight is the tendency not to see past events as having been predictable. Fundamental attribution error, the tendency to overemphasize personality-based explanations for others' behaviors when underestimating situation influences. So, how to recognize and reduce biases? While it is impossible to eliminate biases entirely because they are useful to our brain, akili yetu inahitaji kupumzika. Alafu these are mental shortcuts which help us do things haraka. But sometimes these things, they tend to lead us to errors. So, how can you recognize and reduce them? The first thing you have to know is to acknowledge and accept. The first step is accepting that everyone has biases. Denial prevents progression. Okay, practice self-reflection. Look the way you make decisions. Look at what kind of biases you are affected with. Seek diverse perspectives. Actively engage with people from different backgrounds. Exposure to variety, viewpoints, and challenges ingrained biases. This is why I like talking to people who are more intelligent or who have different backgrounds than me, in order to see what kind of biases I'm stuck in, or what kind of biases I haven't encountered yet. Slow down decision making. In high stakes situations, pause and allow for rational analysis instead of relying on instinctive reaction, because these are mental shortcuts. We tend, if we hurry up in making decisions, we tend to go back to the automatic decision making, which is caused by these biases. So if you slow down your decision making and rationally and critically analyze the information you have, then you're going to reduce this type of biases. Use data and structure. Inanibo bwana, hii kitu inabo, but inaenda kuisha. Use data and structure. Implement standardized processes such as structured interview with consistent questions and rubrics to minimize subjective judgment in hiring and promotions. Number 6. This is the last point. Take assessment tools like implicit association test. From Project Implicit can help bring unconscious biases to light. Because if you don't realize you have this kind of biases, you will never tackle them and come out clean. So, with that information, I'd like to wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.